Hello, viewers. Welcome back. In this video, we are going to interview Mrs. Ujjwala from Heritage Wheels. She's a co-founder of Heritage Wheel, which is based out in Hyderabad, which helps and support weaver section of Telangana states. Come, let us hear from Ujjwala what made her to start her social entrepreneurial journey and her journey in detail. I welcome Ujjwala for this interview. I thank you for accepting our request and joining this series. Welcome back again.
Thank
Yeah.
you,
So the first
Nidish.
question.
Thank
Okay.
you. Yeah,
Yeah.
please go
Okay.
ahead.
Yeah. So the first question. Yeah. The first question. You were, I think, you were a BE graduate initially, according to my study. What made you to start, or what made you to? What is the triggering point that driven you to help this viewer section, especially in Telangana state? If you can share your journey, that will be very wonderful.
Sure, Nidish.
Yeah.
Hi, viewers. My name is Ujjwala Pasla. I am the founder of Heritage Weaves. I am a corporate dropout and a social entrepreneur by accident. I did not plan
Mm.
to be a social entrepreneur. 2012, I was taking a break from my corporate job because my son was not well. And I visited some weavers in my free time because I am a handloom lover. I was always a handloom lover. I belong to Telangana. I am settled in Hyderabad. So I had some connection with these weavers, and I really liked handlooms as a person. So once I visited a weaver who was like my regular weaver, I used to design my own fabric and all that. I liked doing that.
Okay.
So when I visited this weaver, he told me that he's not able to sell his products and he's planning to shift to some other work. Like maybe he wants to take up a work as a ATM security guard or work as a clerk in a chit fund company or something like that, because
Mm.
most of the weavers from his villages are doing that kind of a work. They are shifting to that work.
Okay.
And
Mm.
I was very pained. My first reaction was, if this person leaves weaving, then who will design fabrics for me? That was my
Yeah.
instant reaction.
Oh, okay.
Then I came to know that like almost there were 5,000 weavers in his village, but only like 10 or
Oh.
15 people were remaining. They were continuing weaving, and other people had
Mm.
left weaving because they could not sustain. They were
Okay.
not able to sell those products. They felt there was no market for that product. People were not buying that.
Mm.
So
Mm.
it was painful for me. I came back and then I was thinking, I'm taking a break, so why not maybe try something, maybe help these weavers sell these products. Let me try. I had no background of handlooms or fashion or nothing. I was working as a technical writer, so
Mm.
I had no idea about how this weaving is done. I had no idea. I just knew that there is something called ikat, and I liked it. That's
Mm.
it. I did not have technical knowledge or anything. So I thought, since I'm free and I'm taking a break, let me try because I am very good with technology. So let me try something or help the weavers. uh, it
Okay.
I thought it's an experiment. I did not take it very
Mm.
seriously in the beginning. So next time
Okay.
I went to the weaver and I bought few dupattas. I just
Mm.
spent around 10,000 rupees. I bought some
Okay.
11, 12 dupattas, and
Mm.
I did my online research. There was a website called Shoppo at that time, 2012,
Okay. Okay.
which allowed independent people, not just company, independent
Mm.
people. It was
Anyone.
it was a marketplace where
Mm.
any independent person could upload their product pictures, and if they got sold, the website, the marketplace would transfer money to your bank account. You didn't need a current
Okay.
account, or you didn't need a company registration, nothing. Any independent person could do. And you need not be a designer also. Any person could upload.
Okay.
That concept was not there. Now it is very rampant. There are many websites.
Yeah.
But that
Yes.
time,
Yes.
2012,
12.
shoppo.in was the only website. So, and I didn't know product photography. I was like, I was not a professional. This was an experiment for me. So I had a personal camera. I just took pictures. They gave me some guidelines. The website, when I registered on the website, they gave me some guidelines how to take pictures, like what time it's good to take in the morning and what angle and all that. Some pointers they gave me. And I took some pictures of the dupattas and I put them online. And you won't believe, within 3-4 days, all 11 dupattas were sold.
Wow, that's
So
wonderful actually. Yeah.
yeah, so I was shocked because I didn't expect that. Uh, because what I was told by the viewers that nobody's buying it and all that, and it got sold within
Yeah.
3 days with
3
my
days.
kind of pictures. I was not even professional photographer. And description, all that, I didn't know how to put it online also. I was just trying. So I
Okay.
went back to the weaver and I told him, and I spent 10,000 rupees buying those dupattas. I got 15,000 rupees. So I was very happy.
Wow.
Like, yeah,
Okay.
5,000 profit. So I went back
Yeah.
to the weaver and I told him that I don't know how you came to this conclusion that people don't like these products. They got sold within 3 days, and you were you were
Wow.
telling me that the products are not selling. People are not liking it, but people are liking it. So he then we discussed, and he said, okay, you want to continue some more experiments? I said, why not? I'm free now. I'm not going to office.
Okay.
I'm taking care of my son, but I have some free time, so this looks like some adventure or something like that. So let me try
Okay.
some more and then we'll see how it goes. But for now, you don't shift to some other vocation. Just stick to weaving. Let's see how it goes. If it doesn't work properly, then we'll see. Just give me a 3 months
Oh,
time. So
okay. Okay.
yeah, so he said, yeah. Anyway, when I'm searching job, my wife is there, my children are there. So I am searching for a job. So I will need 3 times to shift to a job. And meanwhile, if I get a job, also my wife can do it. She will be sitting at home. We can do weaving if you want, or we have stock also. So I said, I just gave myself 3 months time, and then whatever money I had, like 10,000, uh, was my first investment. Then I got 15,000, so I bought products
Yeah.
from 15,000, and like that.
Okay.
After 3 months, I was like, every month I was selling almost like 30-40,000 worth of products. So
Okay. That's
this shop,
interesting.
yeah, and Shoppo was very supportive, I would say. Right now it doesn't exist. It has
Yeah.
closed down, but it supported us. It taught us few, like they were Bangalore based, but some of the representatives traveled to Hyderabad and spoke to group
Okay.
of women. Yeah, they sent people to talk to us. Like we were a group of women. They collected them and they gave us. How to take pictures or how to describe your
Okay.
product or all those things, those kind of thing. I got a good support and it was a good learning.
Okay.
Then for 1 year we were doing good business. I did not design anything because I was not a designer and I did not know anything about weaving also. So I was just
Yeah.
picking up products from the weavers and selling it online. So after 1 year, what happened? That shopper.in was closed. He sold
Oh,
it off
okay.
to some other website and they closed it. So our source of our source of
Yeah.
funding was closed, and we were shocked. Like, this is a huge challenge. Where do we? There is no more marketplace. Okay, that was the only marketplace. How do we sell? Then we did some research, and then we started our own website, heritageweaves.com. Yeah. So we started our own website.
This is which year?
Pardon?
In which year you started your initial website?
2014.
14.
No, actually 2012 we started this, right? After 1 year, it was around 2013 or something. Yeah. Somewhere between 2013 or 2014, somewhere in between that place. So we started our own website and we started selling, and then we it was time for me to go back to office. Like, I had to take a decision if I wanted to go back to my job. My son was doing well, or continue with this. But I found this very exciting and very satisfying also. Like, some people have, weavers have skill, and they have been doing that for generation. It is not like they have learned just now. They've been doing this for generation, and it's on the verge of closure. So if I am able to give back that market to the weavers, I would have achieved. Like, if I am working as a technical writer, there are so many people. I don't think I would make any difference. Like, if I'm there or not there, it doesn't make any difference. If Ujjwala is not a technical writer, there'll be hundreds of technical writers. But if Ujjwala is not able to revive the weaving, then there may not be many other people who would be interested in doing this. So I could make a difference here. So that is the reason that gave me a lot of high. I wanted to continue this. This was exciting for me. It was new, and I felt important. Like, I could make a difference. Yeah. So I made that choice. And I started my own website. I invested money. I invested more money, actually, because website was expensive that time, designing and all those things. It was investment. And when you start your own website, then you need to buy more products. Like, earlier I used to buy 10 products, 15 products, but now you have to give more variety to the customer. So you need more investment. So that decision, once I decided that I will continue with this, then I started investing in this. And then then this was like, how do we take it to the next step? It's not that just selling on the website. If you are just selling on the website, people want to, like, these are little expensive, right? Handlooms. If you want to sell silk saris and all that, which are like 7,000, 8,000, 6,000 rupees, people want to touch them, feel them, and then give that money. And 2013, 2014, online was not so popular. People would not trust. It was new concept in India. So people were not very comfortable paying 6,000 or 7,000 rupees for a silk sari, which is online. They would like to see that, touch it, and know who is the person selling, and then only shell out that kind of a money. So we started, we had some more knowledge. So we started attending exhibitions, like Craft Council, Dastkar. There are a lot of societies which encourage handlooms, and they conduct exhibitions in every city. And Dastkar has a permanent place in Delhi, where a lot of people come and all that. So we started attending. I started going to Delhi and going to Bangalore, Mumbai, and all those places, taking a stock of these handlooms, and then interacting with the customers directly on why this weaver has a feeling that people are not buying handlooms.
Not buying.
So I started interacting with the customers, and customers' reaction was totally different. They said, "We love handlooms." Who said we don't want handlooms? Yeah, we love handlooms. We want to buy more handlooms. But the cost is more, like it earlier it used to go through designer. All handloom products used to go through designers.
Through design.
So it
Yeah.
was expensive. So customer says, yes,
Hmm.
we want authentic, genuine products, and we want at a reasonable price. We cannot,
Yeah.
everybody cannot afford a designer. So slowly we understood when we started interacting with the customers directly, and then also taking feedback from them what exactly they want. Like they want trendy products, right? Because the other which are mill made products are very trendy. Every 6 months the fashion changes. So customer wants trendy products as well as handmade products, and at a reasonable price. So that was the feedback we got. So that feedback I carried to the weavers.
Okay.
And like, so there was like coordination. Earlier, there was no coordination between weaver and the customer because weaver never met customers. They used to sell to some distributor or wholesaler or somebody who may not give feedback or changes or anything. There was no coordination between the weaver and customers. So we started doing that. So that was very helpful. And then there were a lot of customers who are very aware about the designs. So they would give us like, if you could make this kind of colors or this kind of texture, and they like weaver does something for generations, right? So unless there is a feedback from the customer, they may not make changes. So those kind of changes we started making. For example, like when we started 2014 or something, there were no dupattas, silk dupattas in Ikat. They weavers used to make only cotton dupattas because their basic market was in Hyderabad. They used to sell locally. So in Hyderabad, women do not wear silk dupattas. If they have a formal occasion, they wear saris. So there was no market for silk dupattas. But when we started traveling to Delhi and Mumbai and Punjab, so Punjabi people wear salwar kameez and dupattas for formal occasions, and they're willing to spend more money on dupattas also. So that they wanted silk dupattas. They were not getting silk dupattas in Ikat. So we got that feedback and we gave it to the weavers. And in the beginning, weavers were not very convinced that people are willing to spend so much money on silk dupattas, but we convinced. And then now, like Ikat silk dupattas are very popular. So that kind of changes, So we started the trend of Ikat silk dupattas. And then slowly, then when the weavers saw that, I started with one weaver, and then the other weavers saw that we were doing good business, then they wanted to like join us and all that. And then there were few weavers who were doing, they had left weaving and they had gone to other other vocations, like petty vacations, like security guard at ATM. I have a weaver who can make beautiful telia rumal. Telia rumal is a very complex ikat design, and that requires at least like 15 to 25 years of experience weaving the same design to get it perfect. That kind of a weaver is working as a ATM security guard, which is like pity. I mean, he has a skill which is not using. So the skill is being wasted. So though that weaver, we got him back, and now he's doing beautiful telia rumal, silk saris. So that way, it's a very good thing. And then we started with B2C model because we were selling online and we were doing exhibitions. We started as a B2C, and then we slowly realized that there is a market for these products in B2B also. Like like we started selling to stores and all that. When we went to Delhi and Dastakar, it's a beautiful thing that in Dastakar lot of designer stores or companies come there to source, because they are
Okay.
authentic handlooms. Like people, like
Hmm.
anybody cannot go and do exhibition in Dastakar. They verify that these are
Hmm.
genuine handlooms and all that. So the
Okay.
people who want to source, or there are a lot of exporters in Delhi, right? Gurgaon and all those places,
Hmm.
a lot of
Yeah.
exporters. So they used to come to Dastakar for sourcing handlooms, because they know they are
Hmm.
genuine handlooms. Whoever is exhibiting in the Dastakar and Craft Council, they are genuine weavers. They are selling
Hmm.
genuine handlooms, authentic handlooms. So they started coming there for sourcing. So we got in touch with
Okay.
those people, and we realized that there is B2B market also for these products. We
Hmm.
don't, yeah, we can sell B2C, as well as we can get a bigger market selling B2B, and it will be a repeat order
Hmm.
also if we can
Yeah.
satisfy the customer. So there is a
Hmm.
bigger market. So that is where we got into B2B, and then we realized that B2B is much more rewarding, and it gives better business, and it's a better business
Hmm.
sense also. So right now we are doing B2B.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. Okay, I think you
Yeah.
have done a wonderful job by empowering a viewer section actually by giving a kind of a proper business structure where the tradition, the culture, uh, they are able to protect that actually because that's what we needed actually. Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
since you have helped a couple of viewers, can you share some numbers like how many number of families you are able to impact? Because as a social entrepreneur there is a very important number of families or number of people you are able to impact. So if you can share that detail, that would be wonderful.
Sure. We started with one weaver, and right now directly we are working with more than 55 weaver families. See,
Oh,
when a
okay.
weaver is working, when a weaver is making some fabric or some product, it's
Hmm.
not that just the weaver is working, the whole family
Yeah.
gets into it. And the next generation is also being trained, because small
Yeah.
children like 10 years old, 14 years old, they help their father or mother,
Hmm.
so they are also getting trained. So it is not just one person in the family, it is the whole family is learning how to do this. So one
Yeah.
family, so we have through our work affected more than 55 weaver family directly. And
Amazing.
then we have other
Okay.
work also, like we get them stitched when we are supplying to
Hmm.
corporates. So we do stitching also, because they want finished products. So lot of stitching units in Jaipur, Delhi, and Hyderabad are also getting work from us. So it's
Hmm.
around more than 100 families, I would say, are
Oh,
getting
wow.
benefited by Heritage Weaves work. Yeah.
Wow, that's a good number actually. In terms of income for this family, what is the average income each family is able to generate? Maybe if you take from say 2015 onwards,
Yeah.
if you have some data, that would be wonderful actually. If you can share that.
Yeah, see, it depends on what is the skill level of the weaver. Like some
Hmm.
weavers, they
Yeah.
can do only single ikat products in cotton. So
Hmm.
that product cost is less, right?
Hmm.
Versus a weaver who can do telia rumal. So telia rumal
Hmm.
in silk, if a weaver is able to do, he gets more. So minimum
Okay.
at the starting,
Yeah.
a weaver earns 15,000 rupees minimum, and they live
15,000.
in
Oh, that's a good
villages.
number.
So yeah, so they
Hmm.
live in villages, so 15,000 rupees is a good amount for them to begin with.
True.
Yeah.
True.
And it can go to
Yeah.
1 lakh rupee also. Like if
Wow.
yeah, yeah, there are some complex like vegetable weaving in double ikat and all those complex
Wow.
designs. Yeah, so a weaver can
Okay.
get 1 lakh rupee also. And we
Wow.
have
And
seen we have seen lifestyle changes, it's not just about money, it's lifestyle changes, because
yeah, I was about to ask that.
yeah, when we started going to exhibitions and we were doing a good job, then what we did was we started taking those weavers in flights. So
Oh,
they
okay.
sat in an aeroplane for the first time, And
Right. Okay.
after a few days, like, we just not just wanted them to have money, we just wanted
Hmm.
them to change their thinking also, because
Thinking.
they
Yeah.
need
Yeah.
to be they
Hmm.
need to be proud of their skill. They need to be proud of their
Hmm.
skill, and they need to understand that this skill can change their lives and their children's life. Otherwise, the next generation, like, what happens is, like, when I joined, every weaver didn't want their children to get into weaving. They
Yeah.
wanted
Hmm.
their children
Common.
to do anything else apart from this. They
Hmm.
wanted them to shift to cities. They are fine with working as a clerk in some corporate office or something, but they were not proud of their skill. So now, like,
Hmm.
we have some weavers where we have taken their children in flight, and we have, like, when we go
Okay.
to exhibition, we are like child friendly, family friendly. We are not like corporates, right? So when we went to
Yeah.
exhibitions, the whole family would come. The weaver family would come.
Okay.
So
Okay. That's
children would
interesting.
sit in the flight, and they saw a different city. They went to Delhi for the first
Hmm.
time in their life. And
Oh.
they saw how people were living and what kind of people were
Hmm.
coming to exhibitions and all that. So it was very motivating for them. And I right now I have few weavers who are, like, actually what happened, since they are not proud of what skill they are doing,
Hmm.
we, like, when we do exhibitions, lot of influential people come to the exhibition, like Smriti
Yeah.
Irani comes to our exhibitions many times, like we have met her
Wow.
many times, yeah. So
Hmm.
through proper channels, we requested them that, if is it possible for the, like, weavers children to get admission into design schools like NIFT and
Hmm.
all those
Hmm.
places.
Yeah.
Weavers
Yeah.
never,
Hmm.
weavers children never dream of becoming a designer.
Dream.
They just want to
Yeah.
continue with the weaving
Yes.
thing, which is not so much respected by anybody. Like, when people go to
Hmm.
weaver, they do not, they like handlooms, but they do not respect it like a designer. Designer is respected, but the
Hmm.
weaver is not as
Hmm.
respected,
Not re-
though he
Yeah.
has more experience, more skill, because he is doing the real
Hmm.
thing, right?
Hmm.
So we requested, and we, like, voiced our opinion that weavers children should get admission in NIFT, but they cannot compete with the other aspiring designers, like, urban
Yeah.
people, like people who go to NIFT. They come from influential background, and they have good
Yeah.
English, and they have good
Hmm.
communication, and they weavers children cannot compete with them. So we wanted some
Hmm.
concession or some reservation
Hmm.
kind of thing for weavers, and you won't believe it happened. 2 years
Okay.
ago,
Wow.
yeah, 2 years ago, government of India has announced that if weaver has a weaver card, their children will get a
Hmm.
direct admission into design schools, like NIFT and all those places. So
Wow. That's
now
really
yeah,
wonderful.
we have few, because of this corona we got stuck. Otherwise,
Hmm.
there are few people who are children who are wanting to go
Hmm.
to a designer. Their
Oh.
dreams have
Okay.
changed. It's not just how much
Hmm.
earning, not just their
And
earning
yeah.
has changed, their dreams, their lifestyles, everything
Dreams.
has changed.
Lifestyle.
So yeah,
Wow.
so that gives me a lot of satisfaction. Like, if I was in a
Hmm.
corporate job, I may not get that kind of a
Yeah. That is true.
satisfaction. I wouldn't
Yeah.
make that kind of a change to people's life.
Yeah. That
Yeah,
is
so that
true.
is the
Yeah.
satisfaction. Yeah.
After listening your story about all these things, even I'm getting like, okay, this is something real. There's a real impact you are creating for the people. Actually, it's not about the income. You're able to
Yeah.
influence them and create a good lifestyle. You're giving good exposure to them actually, which is wonderful. Actually, I really
Yeah.
appreciate your concern and also your the work actually whatever you're doing. That's really wonderful. Now, coming back to this
I
the
would,
discussion of
if
huh,
can I add
yeah,
one more thing? Yeah.
sure, sure,
So
please.
yeah. The thing is, we do one more thing. From our
Hmm.
experience, we got into this. Like
Hmm.
in weaver's family or artisan family, anywhere in India, what happens is it is the skill is passed on from the man of the family to the
Hmm.
sons. It doesn't go to the
Yeah.
daughters. It happens
Okay.
all over India. All over India, any
Okay.
artisan, if you see
Okay.
any artisans, even in
Hmm.
Gujarat or any place, the
Hmm.
skill, the weaving skill is always taught to the sons of the family. The daughter doesn't get
Okay.
credit, and though the
Oh.
women and the daughters support weaving, they help in the weaving process and all that, they are
Hmm.
not called weavers, and the skill is not
Okay.
transferred to the, if a weaver has a special skill, it is not transferred to the
Hmm.
daughters, because daughters will be marrying somebody else and going, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
usually what
Yeah.
happens is, in artisan families and in weavers families, women are not given that due credit. So what
Hmm.
we did is,
Okay.
in Heritage Weaves, what we did was, whatever payments we were making, we were giving to the women only. We decided that all payments will go to only women. And whatever society we
Okay.
registered, yeah, the society
Ah.
we registered, it is all women. Their men can
Okay.
help them, they can support them, they can help them in weaving and doing everything, but the
Hmm.
payments and the names in the society will be only women. That is what we decided. So the women have
Wow.
control. Women have control
Yeah.
of the finances, as well as now
Hmm.
they are getting the due credit. They are being called the weavers. So
This is
that's
interesting.
also very important, you know. That's very
Yeah.
important. So this we learned
Hmm.
from our experience, because when
Experience.
we started with a guy, you know, we started with a
Hmm.
man weaver,
Ah.
and
Yeah.
then we
Yeah.
realized that yes, this is a very good thing, weaving has to
Hmm.
be revived and all that, but these women also have to get due credit. So
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
one
Okay.
more thing we made, and we are really proud of it.
This is really unique, actually. The way you uplifting these women of this Viva section. This is
Yeah,
really amazing, actually. Yeah. Congratulations on that, actually.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Now coming back to the discussion of your business, actually. Uh, what is that one thing you are offering as a value proposition apart from the weavers or handicrafts to the customers? What is that value proposition you are offering to the customers?
Yeah, so we sell directly. It is direct from the weaver to the customer, so they get it at a very good price. And
Oh, okay.
see, uh, when you're talking about social entrepreneurship, usually, like when we started, the concept around us was, when you're a social enterprise, people only talk about, you know, uh, taking pity about the artisan, you know, like support the
Hmm.
artisan and all that. So
Yeah.
when we
Hmm.
realized, like when we started getting into this, we didn't want to get that pity or sympathy or supporting. A customer buys from us because our quality is
Hmm.
good and our price is good, and
Yeah.
it is a trendy, it's a
Hmm.
good unique
Yeah.
product. So
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
is not that just because it's not philanthropy, you know, it's not like
Ha.
you are a good Samaritan, so you have to buy handlooms kind of thing.
Hmm.
It
Hmm.
used to be
Hmm.
that concept when I got into this field. Then I
Yeah.
realized,
Yeah.
no, it's like it's about, like, you know, when you're saying support us, buy from us because artisans are not able to survive, then you are not respecting your skill. You're not confident that your
Hmm.
product is good, right? So we didn't want to go into
Yeah.
that area. What That's why
Okay.
we started this for profit. We want to do
Oh,
for
okay.
profit.
Hmm.
So our
Perfect.
strength is, we will give you unique products, we will give you good
Hmm.
product, and we will give you at a good price. So that is what
Okay.
customer
Okay.
gets. Customer buys from us because they are getting a unique product, they are getting a authentic product, and they are getting it at a
Hmm.
reasonable price.
Oh, okay. That's wonderful. And
Yeah.
till date, how many units you are able to sell? If you have any numbers, if you like, on an average,
No, because it's
total.
been like no idea.
Yeah, it's more than like
Many, like
I can imagine 7 years.
lakhs of products. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Especially when it's
Yeah, so
like
you start.
B2B, right? B2B, then a
So
number
bulk
is
order comes.
huge. Yeah. So it must be more than 1 lakh
Wow.
products.
You
Yeah.
started with the seven. You started with 7 products, and now you reached
7
1
dupattas.
lakh 7
More than
dupattas to
more
1
than
lakh
1
units.
lakh. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow, that is wonderful. I think you achieved this one within a span of 7 years.
Yeah.
15 to 2001. I think it's a beautiful journey, I can say. Yeah. Okay. Now, since you are able to identify the struggle or the issues with the Viva section, what is that one thing you would like to advise others who are in the same field or in the same lifestyle? Actually, though they may not be viewers, some of the sections they have a very unique skill set which is very important and which is very unique for that particular section of the people, but they are failing because it could be agriculture or anything, because as you mentioned earlier in the discussion, viewers parents, they don't want their kids to come to this same profession because they think there is no money and all those things. So same thing we see in agriculture or any other segment. What is your maybe kind of feedback or kind of advice for them actually?
Advice for the people who want to become social entrepreneur, or
No. The section people where they're struggling, those section of people like viewers who are helping,
okay.
identifying their passion, identifying their interest and or the skill set what they have is unique for
Yeah.
them actually. uh, as a person, you are able to identify one section of the people and you are supporting them in whatever the business sense actually. But like
Yeah.
that, there are many section of the section in society, though they have unique skill set, they are not able to grow. So maybe there's a kind of intervention is needed, like you, a person like you, or is there
Yeah.
anything they can do?
The see, today's market is very competitive, so it is one person. If just making good product is not enough. It's there for anything, any business. You have to treat it
Yeah.
like a business. It's not like
Business.
yeah, it's not like earlier when we started, when we were interacting with the viewers, and we were telling them that like we wanted more stock. So we were saying, you give us, we will give you designs, you give us the stock, and when we sell, we will give you the money and all that, and we will give you feedback also, there'll be changes, kind of thing. So weavers were not ready for that. Weavers and artisans, it's like whatever we have been doing for many generations, we want to continue that because it's easy, right? Making changes is little difficult. I mean, they don't know it will work or it will not work, kind of thing. So they're not ready for change. So it's not just making whatever product you are making. There are other things. You have to market it properly. You have to communicate to the customer properly. You have to reach the market. You have to reach the market also. And you have to give a good value to the customer. If you give a good value, like we are saying, to the customer, that we are giving at a good price and we are giving you a unique product which nobody else will give you, and a good quality, customer will definitely buy. Only thing, you have to communicate also. Communicate to the customer and take the feedback. It's not that whatever you are in some lala world and then you are designing something and you want the customer to buy. That will not happen. You have to give what the customer wants.
Okay, this is important actually. Yeah. So the last question of this interview: what is your advice for social entrepreneur who want to help society or who wants to uplift the society and solve the problems here? So if you can share some advice for them, that would be wonderful.
Sure. Like the first thing is, when you start a social enterprise, don't expect people to support you just because you are a social enterprise. You have to give
Mm.
some value to the customer. People will not
Mm.
just shell out money like that. You have to give
Yeah.
some value to the people who are shelling out money. That is
Yeah.
very important. And give them, like I told earlier also, give customer what the customer wants, not what you want to give to them.
Mm.
That's very
Yeah.
important. And like, yeah, I lot of women call me. They like connect
Mm.
through other people, or when I go to seminars or some conferences, they come up to me and they say they want to help people, they want to help women, they want to change lives, solve problems and all that. Yeah, that's very good. You have to understand what is your niche. Like, there was one lady
Yeah.
who came and she said she wants to work for women who are affected by domestic violence. So
Uh-huh.
she wanted to
Okay.
ask me how do I go about it and all that. So I said,
Mm.
yeah, domestic violence, great, we have to solve it, but I am doing it in my own way. Like, when I pay out money, I'm giving it to the woman, so woman is in control, she has a financial control.
Mm.
So there is no domestic violence because money is with her and she is
Her, yeah.
independent. Yeah, so she is in control, so I am
Mm.
like helping out that domestic violence also,
Helping
but in my
violence
way,
also. Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
way. There are people, like, she
Mm.
wanted to take legal course for the
Oh,
domestic
okay.
violence and all
Mm.
that. So I said, yeah, that's great, but that is not my niche, right? I am not into
Mm.
legal this thing. I like designing, I like creative things, but I am taking small steps which
Yes.
affects that
Mm.
also. So any person who wants to get into social enterprise needs to understand what their niche is, what are their
Yeah. Mm.
capabilities, and what way they can affect the society. Everybody can't
Mm.
do everything. So
Mm.
yeah, so you understand your
Okay.
strengths and your capabilities,
Then.
and depending on that, make changes. That will be very good and very
Okay.
satisfying also.
Okay, so that is wonderful to hear from you. The advice what are given to you, I think that's very practical also because one has to understand his capability or the strength, then convert that strength into a kind of pointers or kind of service to the and offer it to the section of the people who are in need actually. So this is wonderful. I think we have come to an end of this interview. Thank you for accepting our invitation and being part of this series, Ujwala. I wish you
Thank
all the
you.
very best for you and Heritage Wheels. I hope to
Thank you.
buy one product from your Heritage Wheels
Sure.
soon. Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay.